turn keys and buttons below. This is the enable button. It allows you to increase the amplitude and trigger response. You can also trigger the response by pressing the button here on the coil. You can select different programs, different menus by the button below. You can select different cells by using the button here, and you can change the value in each cell by turning the key. You disable it here. The stimulator will start up in the main menu. Now I want to show you how to make the machine run a standard depression protocol. 10 Hz, 40 pulses per train, 75 trains with 11 seconds inter-train interval. First of all, make sure that the waveform is on biphasic. Then you go into the timing menu. In the timing menu, you go up to the rep rate, which should be 10. You change that to 10. You change the pulses in the train to 40. And the number of trains to 75. Inter-train interval should be 11. And then you're ready to go. To run the protocol, you need to enable the machine and then increase the intensity or amplitude to the desired value, and then press start. The protocol will then run. On the left side, it will show the total duration of the protocol or the setup, how far the program has been running, how many pulses there are in the protocol, and how many trains that are left. You can pause the setup by pressing pause, resume by pressing go, and you can stop it by pressing stop. When you restart after stop, it will start from the beginning. To save the protocol, go into the configuration. We will save it under a single letter. We go into the configuration menu. Select the desired letter you want to save it under. I select A and I press save. To confirm that I want to overwrite this letter, I will do that in this case. Now it's saved. Now I can control whether I have saved it properly. I exit the configuration and I go into the main menu. If I go up to setup, here I can pick up protocols. I have different protocols installed. And if I take the factory protocol and recall it, it will recall a factory standard. If I go, it can be written here, but it's very difficult. But if you go into the timing menu, you can see that it has 30, 10, and 1 seconds. You can see that it's different from the one that I picked. I go back to the main menu. Here now I will pick my letter A, which I recall or saved before, record it. Now I can go into my timing menu and I can see that my protocol is 10 Hz or 10 PPS, 40 pulses per train, 75 number of train, and 11 seconds interval. And you are then able to start the machine from here. Now I want to show you how to set up biphasic burst to be used in an intermittent theta burst. It has 50 Hz triplets at 5 triplets per second, 10 pulses per train, 20 train, and 8 seconds inter-train interval. You see, we start in the main menu. We will go to the waveform, change that to biphasic burst. We need triplets, so we need to have 3 bursts or 3 pulses per burst. And we need to have it at 50 Hz. This means that we need to have it on 20 milliseconds. So now it is set. Every time you trigger, you will give a burst of 3 pulses. Then we go into the timing menu. In the timing menu, we go to 5 PPS. That's the theta rhythm. We have 10 pulses in the train, and we have 20 trains. And we have an 8 seconds pause because it's an intermittent theta burst protocol. So now it's an intermittent theta burst. We can then go in to our configuration. We can save our protocol. I will choose the letter T. And save. If I exit and I go into the main menu, I'm now able to, I can go up and find my protocol. T. There it is. I can load my previous protocol. I load P. I can remember that one. That loads. Now it has another protocol. I can go into my timing menu. It has different protocol. I go back to my main menu. I now go down to my program T. I recall. Now it's biphasic burst. 320 here. And in the timing, it is 5, 10, 20, and 8 seconds. And you're able to run the protocol. Sometimes you get frustrated that you only have one letter to save your protocols. You want to make it a name like TPS for theta burst or depression for 10 Hz protocol. So now I want to show you how to save under multiple letter. This is changed in service page 2, which is located in the configuration, service and service 2. I will show you how to do it. So go into the configure. We go into the service menu, and then we go into the service package 2. And here we go down to the cell. You see, should be able to go down here and edit file name. We change that to on. And then we exit service to the service mode, and now I have my theta burst. If I go into the configure, you see here it's now changed. Now I want to change it to something else. I want to call my theta burst TPS with capital letters. I press edit save. Now I can scroll down, and I would like to have capital letters. I select. Now it's in capital letters. Then I will go up. So now my capital letters, and I want to have my T. Enter. Now I have two T's. That's actually a little bit of a problem. I will then go in, and I will delete one of my T's. Delete. Enter. Now I can delete it. And then I want to have a P. Enter. P. All right. And I want to have a S. Enter. Now I want to save it. I will go down to the save value here and change. Now it's called TPS. If we then go out of the configuration into the main menu, we will now find that we have a protocol called TPS. So that's how you save under letters. If you have installed a map option on your stimulator, you are able to look at the evoked responses. The map or the motor evoked responses can be seen under configuration and on the map. So you go into the configuration and you will see the map. Here you will be able to see the evoked responses, and you can change the values of the display. I have to emphasize that if your response is larger than the screen, the cut-off responses will be saved, not the full traces. But you can change the different values, and you can also go in and you can save the protocol under the name, and you can then open these files, and if you have a USB stick, you can store it on that. Go back to the main menu. If you want to have your stimulator as a master, seeing that it will send out trigger signals, it's done under configuration and trigger. So you go into the configuration and you press trigger. Then you can enable or disable trigger out responses. You can set whether you want to have rising edge or falling edge on the input, on the output. And you can also set delays from the stimulator before it responds on the input and on the output. All these setups will be stored on the setup that you choose to save afterwards. On the other hand, you're back in the main menu. If you want to have your stimulator be run as a slave, that means that it's triggered from outside. You go into the timing menu. You may have noticed that you have up at the timing control, you have a word called sequence. Sequence means that the machine is running its sequence or its setup by itself. You can change this to external trigger. That means that it will trigger once every time it gets a pulse from outside. It has external sequence start or X sequence start. This will run a protocol from when you get an external trigger, and then it will disable afterwards. So it can only run one sequence. On the other hand, if you choose the external sequence continuous, it will keep enabled, and it will run a sequence every time it gets a TTL signal or trigger signal. If you need to run very advanced responses or protocols where you are varying the stimulus frequency, train length in the same part, and you cannot intervene or change the protocol. You can use that by advanced timing control. This is called the protocol tool. You find that in the timing menu and in the protocol. Here you have the opportunity to make cells that respond individually. You can add cells, you can change the values of the cells, you can change delay, or you can go down and say, oh, I want to respond on an external trigger. You can also set the response. I don't want to have a biphasic, I want to have a biphasic response, so I want to have this. So I want this as a biphasic. I can change this to either half sine of biphasic burst. I can then go down. I want to have a little burst here. And I want to have it very fast. So you can do a lot of advanced stuff. And then you can follow line by line. Again, this protocol, it's saved under the setup that you saved afterwards.